Ezgi and the Silver Lake. Ezgi was a curious 9-year-old girl who lived in a small coastal village by the sea, and every morning she helped her grandmother water the flowers and feed the chickens before school, and every evening she sat on the old wooden dock to watch the sun set over the water and think about adventures far away. But one clear afternoon, as she walked home from the market, she saw a bright blue feather lying on the stone path and picked it up to feel its soft texture and saw that it shone with a gentle light. And then she heard a soft whisper in her ear that said, "Follow the feather to the Silver Lake." So she felt a quick pulse of excitement and a little fear, but decided to be brave. And she ran to meet her best friend Can, who loved puzzles and carried a small lantern for night trips. And she showed him the feather and told him the whisper, and Can's eyes grew wide because he had heard old stories of the Silver Lake, a hidden place where the water looked like shining silver under the moon, and where a secret gate appeared when a kind heart came to help. So they packed a small bag with 2 sandwiches, 2 water bottles, a notebook, a pencil, a warm scarf for Ezgi, a compass for Can, and the glowing feather, and they promised to be back before sunset. Then they set off down the dusty road toward the forest that began just past the hills where wildflowers grew. And as they entered the forest, the sun dipped lower and the trees made long shadows while birds called to each other and the wind whispered in the leaves like a secret song. And Ezgi held the feather high because its light showed them the path of bright stones that glowed faintly and led deeper into the woods, and Can used his compass to keep them from going in circles, and Pip, Ezgi's small puppy, ran ahead barking in excitement and sniffing at every bush, and they climbed gently over mossy logs and climbed down a shallow creek on stepping stones until they saw a wooden arch covered in ivy with a symbol of a silver moon carved in its center, and they knew this was the gate to the Silver Lake. So Ezgi placed the feather on a small brass holder built into the arch, and the gate swung open with a soft creak to reveal a hidden clearing filled with tall reeds that whispered, and a wide lake whose water was so still and pure that it reflected the clouds and stars as if it were a mirror. And as Ezgi and Can stepped closer, Can saw carved letters on a stone block by the shore that said, "Pour 3 drops of kindness in the water to reveal the path." So Ezgi and Can looked at each other and smiled. Then Ezgi took 1 sandwich and broke a small piece and fed it to Pip to share her kindness, and Can took a handful of wild berries he had picked earlier and placed them on the stone block as his gift. And they counted 3 drops of clean water from their bottles and poured them into the lake with the feather beside them, and at once the lake's surface began to glow like silver moonlight, and a pale path of stones rose above the water leading to a small island at the center, and Ezgi felt her heart warm with joy as she saw the magic unfold. So they hurried along the stone path, careful with each step, until they reached the island where a single silver tree grew with branches that twisted like ribbons and leaves that flickered with gentle light, and at the base of the tree sat a small wooden chest with a lock shaped like a star. And Can held the compass in one hand and Ezgi held the feather in the other, and they saw that the lock fit a key in the shape of the feather, and then Ezgi pressed the feather into the lock and turned it gently, and the chest opened to reveal a pale silver seed wrapped in soft cloth, and a soft voice like wind through the branches said, "Plant this seed where the forest needs hope and it will bring new life for many years." So Ezgi knelt on the cool grass and dug a small hole with her hands, and planted the seed beside the tree, gently covering it with soil and whispering, "Grow strong and kind." And as she spoke, the ground trembled with a gentle pulse and the seed glowed and sank into the earth. And new leaves sprouted on the tree's branches while the lake water calmed and lost its glow once more. And the path of stones sank beneath the water, leaving the lake as still as before, and the wooden arch swung shut behind them when they returned, closing silently as the feather dimmed in Ezgi's hand. And Ezgi and Can walked back along the path of bright stones which still glowed faintly to guide them out, and Pip trotted beside them looking back to wave his tail. And when they reached the edge of the forest, the sun was low in the sky and the village lanterns were already lit, and they ran home to tell their families about the Silver Lake and the silver seed and the secret gate. And their parents listened with proud smiles and said, "You have shown great kindness and courage tonight." Then Ezgi placed the silver seed in a small pot by her window and watched as a tiny shoot grew each morning, remembering the adventure they had shared and the gift they had given to the forest. And that night in bed she wrote in her notebook in neat letters, "We followed a glowing feather to help a hidden lake. we gave our gifts of kindness, and we planted a seed of hope," and she closed the notebook with a smile and drifted to sleep, dreaming of the silver lake and the tree that would stand for many generations as a sign that even small acts of kindness can open secret doors and bring new life to the world.